Hi guys, and happy hashtag Wealth Wednesday. And this is actually it's pretty fitting that I'm introducing and interviewing my amazing friend, Andrea Sager, who specializes in all of this. So for all my network marketing friends, my business coaches, my entrepreneurs who have intellectual property, they have systems, they have stuff that they can download, and I'm going to bring Andrea on. It's been a while since I actually did an interview. It's been maybe a week or two, but I think it worked.
Hey,
How are you?
good. How are you?
Good. Long time no see.
I know it's been a while.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to take some time today to hop on. And it's around lunchtime, so some people may drop off, some people might come on or on the replay. So I want to get right into it. We have the pleasure of being in the same mastermind together. And what I love about what you do is that you're an entrepreneur yourself, and your target market is also entrepreneurs. And as you know, I've been a network marketer, and I am a business coach, and that's how we connected on a lot of our stuff. So why don't you first introduce yourself to my network, who you are, where you're from, what you do, and what you did, and more importantly, how you're helping people now, and then we can do a little Q&A.
Awesome. Yeah, so thanks for having me, first of all. I am a big fan of yours, especially after connecting at our mastermind weekend.
Thank you.
So yeah, I was at a big law firm in Cincinnati right out of law school. I thought I was set for life, making six figures. I had quote unquote the dream job, but I quickly found out that was not the case, that it was not my dream job because I had a previous small business and I had it when I was working at the firm, but I quickly found out that the firm did not like small businesses because I wanted to bring in a small business client because
Mm.
I had a great connection with small businesses due to my business as a clothing store owner. And this one lady in particular, she wanted a trademark done. I said, yep, let's do it. Well, during the onboarding process with the firm, one of the partners basically was like, this is not a quality client for us. We don't, like begrudgingly, they said that they would accept the client, but I was like, you know what, forget it. So I told her, I was like, it's not going to work out here, but I'm going to go out on my own in a few months. So if you want to wait a couple of months, then I can help you then. And she's like, oh, perfect. So, and at that point, before that conversation with the partner happened, I didn't know I was going to be going out on my own. But once I had that conversation with the partner, I knew for sure that that place was not where I wanted to spend the next 40, 50 years of my life. And so I knew that was not going to work out. So
What was
within a
was
few,
was that the deciding moment? Was that kind of
that was
like
the defining moment.
your your
Absolutely.
your personal aha moment was when one of the partners said, "Well, we don't really like the look of this person in their business, so we don't want to represent them." So, and as lawyers, it is your job to serve others and make sure they're protected. And basically, they were not just niching themselves, but they were, I don't want to say profiling, but they were being too hand selective of who they wanted to work with. And you, being the servant person that you are, you wanted to help everyone, because everyone that needs licenses and trademarks and copywriting, all that stuff, you wanted to be able to help anyone and everyone.
Absolutely. Yes. So I always had a soft spot for small businesses, and this one business in particular, they are a great business, multi six figures. I don't know if they are a seven figure business, but they are at least, multi six figures, great business. Like they're great.
All right, I think she got frozen. Let's see if she comes back. I might have to have her pop on and pop off. So let's see for to continue without her. So I'm going to bring Andrea back on in a second, but what I love about Andrea is that you can see that it took just that one moment where she found that she was more open-minded than the firm that she was working for, and she wanted to be that servant person. She wanted to help more people. And I think all of us as network marketers, as business coaches, as entrepreneurs, whatever we're doing, we want to help as many people as possible. Let me see if she's still on here. And then we can, all right, there she is. Let me see if I can add her back in. So, it's so important for you guys. Here we go. All right,
Sorry
there we
about
go.
that.
That's okay.
Okay, so I knew that there was a gap there because small businesses need protection just like any other business, whether they have one employee or a million employees,
Right.
they still need protection. So I knew that gap was there. And once I had that defining moment, I knew that's what I wanted to do with my life, was to fill that gap and be that resource, that go-to resource for small businesses. Because even when so I had the clothing store, there was like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know that I needed protection. I didn't know I needed this or that protected. I just didn't know. And I didn't know because there's nobody out there really putting themselves out there in order to educate the small businesses. And it's hard as a small business to even get educated because resources can be very expensive. And I knew as a small business owner, you probably need protection more than even the bigger businesses, because those bigger businesses will easily take advantage of small businesses because they think they don't know what needs to be protected. They don't know what they have protected. So it's really important for me to serve as that resource, even just providing free educational resources. So I've tried to provide good resources on my blog. I do live videos as well in my group just because I want to provide value, even if people aren't going to hire me. That's not what's important to me. What's important to me is knowing that small businesses know that they're eligible for protection, that they know that they can be protected, and providing resources on how they can even DIY their own protection. That's not always the best way to go about it, but I mean, I've been there. I've been the solopreneur who is hustling every day, DIYing everything. So it's important to even have that resource to know how do I DIY it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much how I ended up where I am right now.
And it's, I shared with you two stories because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the reason why, and we haven't done work together yet, but the reason why I was forced into trademarking, licensing, and copywriting my coaching practice is that I had two things happen. I had an ex-client take my content that I taught that person, and they began teaching others based off of my intellectual property. And second, I had someone purchase products that I had online and recreate them as their own and then start to sell them.
Yeah.
Now, I was able to close the one door, but the other individual is still out there coaching, and I can't control that. But I mean, if I wanted to, I can go down that rabbit hole, but I don't need to. But I want you to now speak to all the network marketers, the entrepreneurs, the small business owners, because what network marketers don't realize is that if they're in network marketing and they create a system for their team that
Mm-hmm.
produces monetary results, that is something that can be trademarked and copyrighted. So why don't you talk about from an entrepreneurial legality view, how important it is for network marketers, entrepreneurs, small business owners to make sure that all windows and doors are locked so their content and their business is protected.
Yes. So just as a brief overview, um, content can be protected with a copyright,
Mm.
and your branding is protected with a trademark.
So talk about the difference between content and branding. So give the audience an idea of what an example of what content can be copyrighted and what can't.
Okay, so for trademarks, that is anything that identifies you as a brand. So you're the source of the goods or services. Typically, that's your brand name, your logo, your slogan. If you have a course name, that can be trademarked. A podcast name, that can be trademarked. Um, any type of resources that you may bundle together and you sell that as a product, that can certainly be trademarked, the name of that. Now, within that product, if you have, maybe you even have an ebook, if the name of the ebook may not necessarily be protected, but the content inside of that ebook, that is protected with a copyright. So what makes up your online coaching, what the content in there, that is protected with a copyright. Blog post, your photographs, that is 100% covered by a copyright. If you have videos, so if you have an online course, you would file 2 copyright applications, one for the actual text within the course, and then for the media as photos, videos, that would be protected as well under a separate application.
So important.
Yes, and again, as a network marketer, you have your materials to train your team, and if those are original to you and they're unique, there's something that you created, all of that content is protected by copyright.
Wow.
Yeah.
So as a network marketer, when you're building out your business and you're building out your team and you're running a multiple 6 and 7 figure business, it's advantageous to make sure that your systems are protected. If you're going to treat it like a business, you need to run it and protect it just like a brick and mortar business, correct?
Absolutely. Yes.
So what's the biggest mistake that you see entrepreneurs, and we're going to lump everyone together. So whether they're a brick and mortar, they're a small business owner, they're a coach, they're a network marketer, we're going to put them into one bucket. What do you see people doing most commonly wrong with what they are or are not doing to protect themselves?
So the number one mistake is not protecting yourself. And I just got back from a conference, and the number one issue is people not protecting themselves. And I totally understand. It is not a priority. It doesn't become a priority until it's an issue, but you will find out once it does become an issue that you would have spent less money if you would have just protected yourself to begin with. And even now, so the Supreme Court just ruled earlier this year that you cannot sue anybody unless you have a copyright registration. So for copyright infringement, it used to be in some states you could file a lawsuit as long as you have a copyright application pending, but now you have to have that registration. So that can push you back months and months, and that person may choose to keep selling, although they shouldn't. But if they do, then that's just more that you have to prove. You have to prove. I mean, it just becomes so much more of a headache if you don't protect yourself up front. So you can file your copyright. If you DIY, you can file it by yourself. It's $55 for an application. A lot of people don't realize how simple and cheap it is really to protect your copyrights. It's $55 for the application fee. Now, trademarks, the application fee is $225 or $275, just depending on what application you file. But it's worth every single penny. And another big thing that people don't realize with trademark infringement, if somebody's on social media and they have your handle that you have protected, and you want that handle, you can submit your registration to Instagram, Facebook, Etsy, wherever you're selling, submit it to the platform, and they will delete that account and give you the rights to that name. But you have to have the registration. It doesn't matter if you've been in business for 50 years. If you don't have a trademark registration, they can't do anything about it. So if you have that registration, you can get the rights to the name. I have a lot of people that actually go through that because they want their the correct social media handle, but if they don't have a registration, there's nothing they can do about it.
So what would be, because, there's a lot of beginning entrepreneurs, they're not where we specifically are in our businesses. And, I learned the hard way, again, the importance of protecting your content. So my question to you is for the beginning, because this is the thing, a lot of network marketers financially aren't where they want to be, but it's not expensive to protect themselves. So what would be the number one piece of beginning advice to that network marketer, to that business coach, to that entrepreneur, to what would be the foundational thing that they need to do to get started with best protecting themselves and the business that they have?
So to get started with a copyright, just file it yourself. It's not hard to DIY, especially if you're on a shoestring budget. It'll take you a little longer than it takes me 20 minutes to file a copyright application. It may take you an hour, but if you have $55, file that application because you have no idea how much protection it will give you down the road. Now, for trademarks, you can DIY the application, but it's not suggested just because it can get very complicated and it's not as cheap as a copyright application. But for trademarks, before deciding on a brand, run a trademark search. You don't have to file an application, but you want to run a trademark search because that can save you thousands and thousands of dollars down the road. Because I get so many people who don't run a search. They'll just Google the name that they want to use and they're like, oh, it's not taken by anybody that I see, or the domain name is available. Well, that doesn't matter because trademark infringement occurs when there is a similar name, not just the same exact name. So if it has the potential to cause consumer confusion, then it is trademark infringement, and you will have to change your name, and you have to rebrand and spend
Everything. It's a mess.
Yes. So running the trademark search can provide you with immense value, not as much obviously as a registration, but it'll give you peace of mind starting your business that you're going in the right direction.
So just quickly, what are some things that network marketers and entrepreneurs can copyright and trademark, and what are some things that they can't?
So pictures, you definitely can copyright, and that goes in the other direction as well. Do not use any picture that you find on Google, Pinterest. Don't use those photos because you will find out quickly that these photographers are now going after you. Even if it's a year or two later that you used it, you'll be liable for copyright infringement. So pay for a stock photo or just there's free stock photo websites. Protect yourself on that end and don't just download a photo from Google or Pinterest and use it for your business because you'll be in trouble from that. And also, so for a network marketer, I know I actually have a couple of network marketers who have kind of branched off and started their own sort of mentoring group, and they've branded it. If you're going to be branding it, you want to trademark that brand because it's a brand, so it identifies you as a mentor, and you don't want anybody else to be confused. So that's why you want to protect yourself with a trademark there.
So for people, and again, I know you have an amazing membership group coming out. So number one, before we finish, how can people get in touch with you if they have any questions about how they can better be protected? But more importantly, tell them quickly a little bit about the membership site that you're creating for network marketers, entrepreneurs, and small business owners, where for a small monthly fee, they can have access to you as their lawyer without having to pay the ridiculous lawyer fees that some people end up doing if they wait too long.
Yes, absolutely. So this is a great program. I built it with the small business in mind. It is $95 a month, and you get all access to an attorney. Your problems become our problems, and you can finally say, well, let me run it by my lawyer first and actually mean it. And you get phone calls, emails, document review. So if somebody sends you a contract to sign and you have no idea whether you should sign it, and because you just don't know if you're signing your life away, you don't know how to dissect the language, send it over to me. I look it over really quickly and let you know whether you should ask any questions or say you're good to go, you can sign it. And you also get 15% off of any additional services. So $95 a month, you get all access to me, and then you get 15% off of everything else that's not covered under the subscription. So trademark searches, applications, copyright matters, whether you need to send a cease and desist letter, everything else, it's 15% off.
And even better, for tax write-off purposes, this is a business expense that can be written off every single month.
Absolutely. Yep.
So how can people contact you on social media and or website to learn more about you and how you can help them?
So social media, Andrea Sager Law, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Andrea Sager Law. And then the best way to get a hold of me is email, andrea@andreasager.com. And there's also a contact form on my website, andreasager.com. You can get a hold of me any of those ways, and I would be happy to give you any more information, answer any questions. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you so much for taking the time to enlighten the audience, and I know that they took away some helpful tips. And for all my network marketing and entrepreneurial friends, there is no price that you can put on protecting yourself and your content, because the amount of money that you would end up spending if you don't is going to completely outweigh if you get ahead of the game. So, Andrea, thank you so much for taking the time today. Grateful for you and looking forward to doing more work together in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And if anybody has any questions, you can also drop them here. I'll monitor this post and answer any questions.
Awesome. You're the best, and have a great rest of your day, Andrea.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So for all my network marketing professionals, definitely contact Andrea. She can help you guys so much, more than you realize. And even if you have a small business outside of network marketing, everything can be lumped together. So guys, I hope you found today's interview and content helpful. Please enjoy the rest of this beautiful Wednesday, and I'll talk to you next time. And Andrea, thank you again. You rock, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, everybody.